Today, I want to talk about something that has shaped this garden more than any single plant choice: the elements of English cottage garden design. Even though it's winter and much of the garden is sleeping, this is actually the perfect time to talk about it. Because a true cottage garden isn't just about flowers at their peak, it's about structure, layering, history, and the way a garden feels across the seasons. Over the past year and during our travels through England, I've filmed a lot of footage that really captures these ideas. So today we're going to look at the key elements of English cottage garden design, using our garden, past seasons, and some beautiful examples from England itself. One of the defining characteristics of an English cottage garden is that it feels informal, but it's never accidental. Beneath the apparent looseness, there's always a clear structure, paths that guide you, boundaries that contain the planting, and a sense of rooms within the garden. In traditional cottage gardens, this structure often comes from simple materials: brick, stone, gravel, clipped hedges, or wooden fencing. The plants may spill and wander, but they do so within a framework that gives the garden coherence. Cottage gardens are famous for their abundance. Plants are packed closely together, layered from front to back, and allowed to intermingle. This kind of planting creates depth, softness, and movement. Tall plants rise through lower ones, ground covers knit everything together, and gaps are filled quickly. In my own garden, this approach has helped reduce weeds, retain moisture, and create that lush, immersive feeling that defines the cottage style. Historically, cottage gardens weren't purely ornamental. They were places of necessity, growing flowers alongside herbs, fruit, and vegetables. That tradition still carries through today. Roses might grow next to lavender, herbs edge a path, and fruit trees are woven into the overall design. This blend of beauty and usefulness is one of the things that gives cottage gardens their authenticity and warmth. The choice of plants plays a huge role in the cottage garden style. Many of the classic plants, roses, foxgloves, delphiniums, hollyhocks, have been grown in English gardens for centuries. They carry a sense of history with them, a connection to the past. Using these plants doesn't mean copying the past exactly, but rather building on it, allowing tradition to inform modern gardens. Another essential element is the relationship between the garden and wildlife. Cottage gardens are rich in nectar, pollen, and shelter. They buzz with insects in summer and provide seeds and cover well into winter. And this abundance isn't just beautiful, it's part of what makes these gardens feel alive. In a cottage garden, plants are allowed to soften edges. They spill over paths, lean against walls, and blur boundaries. This creates a relaxed, welcoming feel, one that invites you into the garden rather than keeping you at arm's length. And that softness is intentional. It's one of the reasons cottage gardens feel so human and approachable. While cottage gardens are often associated with summer, a well-designed one has interest all year. In winter, the bones of the garden become visible: paths, structures, evergreens, and seed heads. These quieter moments give the garden depth and longevity, and they remind us that beauty doesn't disappear when the flowers fade. Cottage garden design isn't about strict rules or perfect planting plans. It's about balance between structure and freedom, tradition and personal experience, beauty and usefulness. Whether in a small plot or a larger landscape, these elements come together to create gardens that feel timeless, welcoming, and deeply connected to the people who tend them. What I love most about English cottage garden design is that it isn't a fixed formula. It's an approach that has evolved over centuries, shaped by climate, tradition, necessity, and individual gardeners making the most of what they had. When you understand the elements, the structure, the planting style, the sense of history, you start to see why these gardens feel so enduring and so personal at the same time. And if you'd like to explore this further, we've shared quite a few videos here on the channel that go deeper into English gardens, including the gardens we visited in England, as well as videos where we talk about the history behind English garden design and how those ideas still influence gardens today. Seeing those historic gardens in person and understanding where these design ideas come from has had a huge influence on how we garden here. And I think it really helps to put everything you see in a cottage garden into context. I'll link some of those videos below if you'd like to continue this journey. And as always, thank you for spending these moments in the garden with us.